What is up, YouTube? This is your boy Armaret, and as you know, this is the Walking Dead review. So, of course, be warned, spoilers abound. I will tell you what happened in this past week's episode, which is entitled Home. So, if you don't want to hear what happened, tune off now and then come back once you finish watching the episode. So, first I'll start off with what exactly happened in this episode, and then I'll kind of get into, as always, where I think it's heading. So, to start off the episode, we find out that the governor has decided to give over leadership of the town to Andrea for a little while because he sees that the people have really responded to her plea to stick together, and then he mysteriously vanishes, and Andrea can't find him, and nobody will help her find him. So that sets the stage for the first half of Woodbury. Then we also have the prison, and in the prison, Glen at this point is just losing his mind in rage. Tyrese and his group have left the prison; they're not there anymore. You have Rick, who's completely lost his marble, so he's not helpful. So Glen essentially he says, "I am the leader. It's my time to lead. We're gonna do what I want to do, and Michonne, me and you, we're gonna go back in and we're gonna kill the governor, and that's gonna be the end of it." And he ends up getting talked out of it by Herschel, essentially saying, "Hey, this isn't the right thing to do. He's not going to come after us. You going off and trying to kill him is the absolute worst thing that can happen to us right now." So he pretty much changes his mind, and he grabs Carle, and they go down into the burrows of the prison to try and find the area in which Tyrese actually came in, and to seal that off. They come back a short time later covered in blood, essentially saying that the zombies have overrun the boiler room, overrun the generators, and they're almost getting back to square one, so they can't go down into the prison anymore. So then Glen at that point is like, "Well, I'm going to go, since I can't clear out the prison from there, I'm going to clear it out from the outside. I'm going to get my car, I'm going to grab Maggie, and we're going to take care of this." So Michonne steps in and goes, "Hey, I'll help you out. I'm a good fighter." And Glen's exact response is, "No, Michonne, we need you here in case the governor does decide to attack us." And Herschel kind of steps in and goes, "Are you sure that Maggie's really up for this? Because I don't think that she is." And then, of course, Glen then goes to talk to Maggie, and you get this real awkward tension sort of scene in which it's kind of like Maggie is just still trying to process what happened to her, while Glen is still pushing to find out exactly what happened. Were you raped by the governor? And finally, the whole thing kind of explodes with Maggie saying, "Hey, I wasn't raped. Are you happy now?" And that just kind of makes Glen mad, and he kind of runs off. So he goes and he gets in the truck to go drive around the outside of the prison to see if he can find, as to, how Tyrese got in. And Herschel pretty much tries to stop him, saying, "I'll come with you." And Glen pretty much pushes him off. And at that point, he declares, "I am the leader of this group, and I'm going to do it." And then they kind of jump to Rick. And Rick, at this point, he thinks he sees Lori in the prison. Then he thinks he sees her outside in the courtyard. And then he thinks he sees her outside the prison gate. So he's outside, aimlessly wandering around like a crazy man, trying to find Lori. And then at one point, Herschel goes to grab him and to try to talk some sense into Rick and saying, "Hey, we need you now. Glen's a great kid, Glen's a great guy, but his youth and anger and vengeance are flailing, and there's nothing good can possibly come from this. Please come, talk to us." And at that point, Rick, confides in Herschel that he is seeing Lori, and that Herschel says, "Well, was that Lori who was down in the phone?" If you remember back to the middle of the season, he said, "Yeah." And at that point, Rick says, I could see Lori. Lori's here. Where's Shane? I'm looking for Shane." So that's why he's going crazy at this point. We find that Rick is out wandering around aimlessly, going crazy, trying to find Shane, since in his mind he's already found Lori, and he's pretty much completely useless at this point. They then cut over to the Dixon brothers, Daryl and Merle, and you see them walking and kind of arguing about, what river is that, and Merle kind of wants to make a bet, with Daryl saying, "Oh, it's the yellow, it's this river," and Daryl's like, "No, it's the Yellow Jacket River." And then at that point, Daryl hears a baby crying, and he takes off to go and to try and protect the baby. And what they pound off to is a bridge going over the river, and there's these two guys shooting at these zombies, and a lady's in a car holding a baby. And Merle tries to talk Daryl out of it, but Daryl, being the badass that he is, pushes his brother off, and then proceeds to slaughter every zombie on the bridge with a little bit of help from his brother. So they kill off all the zombies, and at that point Merle decides, I'm going to take from these people something in return for helping them. And Daryl pretty much says, no, 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 that's not going to happen. And Merle doesn't want to listen, so he starts going into the car. And then Daryl takes his crossbow to the back of Merle's head and says, everybody get in the car now and go. And then Merle pretty much steps out and is like, are you serious? And the people leave. And then that is like the final straw. Daryl says, I'm going back to the group. I'm leaving you. This isn't going to happen. And at that point, Merle tries to stop him and rips his shirt off. And you see all these scars across Daryl's back where he was severely beaten and by his father, And at that point, Merle kind of apologizes, and Daryl doesn't want to hear it, and he goes back to the prison. And Merle says, but they won't accept me. He says, well, it's your problem. I'm going back. I'm going to be, with my friends and family. And so they cut back to the prison, and you still see Herschel really kind of trying to talk Rick in. And at that point, gunfire just erupts, and Axel gets shot in the face. Axel is now dead. Just boom. First shot is the governor shoots Axel in the face, who's in the kind of like the prison playground area with Carle, and they're talking. And this massive battle erupts between the governor and two of his lackeys versus the people in the prison. And at one point, this guy drives this big padded vehicle through the gates of the prison and drops the back door, and a shit ton of zombies come out. So now this is what is equivalent to the first raid on the prison, and all hell breaks loose. And Axel's shot, and Rick's stuck outside the prison. He's being shot at, and everyone in there is just trying to fight for their lives. And then when it looks like things are really bad for Rick, he's cornered. He's pressed up against the cage against two walkers. Merle and Daryl step in and kill the walkers and help him clear off the outside. The governor then leaves, and he's smiling because he knows that he can take these people any time that he wants. And the episode pretty much comes to an end with Axel dead, the people inside the prison really shaking, and then the grassy area full of zombies, and then Rick and the two brothers outside. So then that then leaves us to what we think is going to happen going forward. And at this point, Merle is going to come into the fold of the group. Daryl is back with the group. It looks like that Rick's going to be asked to step down as leader because he clearly is not there, which then makes you wonder, are they going to go and see if they can bring Tyrese back into the fold and make Tyrese the leader, or maybe they make Daryl the leader, since he does seem to have the most level head and the kindest heart, since Glen's angry and Rick's gone insane. Maybe they used Herschel, but this was another fantastic episode of The Walking Dead. And once again, they clearly outdid themselves. Though I am a little bit curious if this is what they constitute as the first assault on the prison. In the comic books, it actually happens twice, and the second time they come with just crazy vehicles. But in the first one, they get knocked back by the people of the prison. They get knocked back by the survivors. It's not even really a fair fight. And in this one, it seemed more one-sided, in which the governor chose to retreat. So there's a little bit of discontinuity. But it should be exciting to see what happens next week on The Walking Dead. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this episode. And as always, have a good one.